Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the weekly Pint. It's not a show, it's a happy hour, so I hope everybody's got a drink in front of them. If you do, feel free to chime in on the chat and tell everybody else what you're drinking. You guys know how this goes by now. Marco is having a truth, getting his to-go food. We all know what Justin's probably drinking. And Julia says she is drinking Untitled Art, Saskatoon Berry Berliner Weiss. What is a Saskatoon berry? Is that an actual berry? I hope it is. Justin is drinking a PBR. He's extra hipster. His girlfriend is drinking wine. We accept all types of drinks on this show. If you want to drink wine, drink wine. Nobody's going to judge you. I'm going to crack open West Coast IPA. This is Satisfaction Feeling from Fretboard. I have not tried this one. It just says West Coast IPA. And doesn't tell me much else other than 7%, 70 IBUs. It does, however, bring up a good point about local beer news. Fretboard is now with Cavalier. They've signed on to a distributor. There were lots of rumors for a long time about them possibly making their way with a distribution partner instead of being self-distributed, and the news finally is out that it is Cavalier. So congrats to everybody at Fretboard. Hopefully it brings nothing but great things and more people drinking more of their beer. Newport Report is drinking Mount Begbie Revelstoke Lager. I assume that is a Canadian brewery because I've never heard of it. Julia says Saskatoon berries are real. She looked it up. Grows on shrubs, also called pigeon berries, similar to blueberries. Saskatoon berry sounds way tastier than a pigeon berry. So if you are new to the show, the way it works is you hang out, we drink together, and we all just talk about whatever we want to talk about. Which is why there is a phone number here on the screen. You can call in and you can talk that way. We'll pipe you right in and we'll talk to you. Otherwise, you can always just take part in the chat wherever you happen to be listening to the show, and it'll appear also right here on the screen so people can see what you're talking about. Though most of you guys are usually on Facebook, so it doesn't really matter. The amount of effort that I went through to make it so that this chat could appear right here, right there, so you can listen wherever you are, is insane. There we go. Joey Borders is and Josh is drinking. They're watching on YouTube, drinking a Built to Spill by Foam Brewers in Burlington, Vermont. Big double IPA, hazy boy, but it's made very well. This is not hazy at all. This is bright. Yeah, I guess there's just a hint of hop haze to it, but it is extremely hoppy. The studio is now filled with the delicious smell of floral danky hops. I don't know what kind of hops because again there's not a lot to go on the can. And I am a bad show host and I didn't pull up any notes. Brad says mango. Sorry while I look things up here. All right. Yeah, so Untapped tells me that is new West Coast style IPA. Has huge notes of mango and hangs in at 7%. So not a lot more other than mango. I do get mango, but it's like it is a danky, hoppy mango. Oh. Brad says, I believe they were an experimental Yakima hop called M Blend. So no fun name. Josh is drinking a beer that Julia got him. Booby by Burley Oak Brewing, 10% triple IPA. Booby beer. All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Let's dive into this and see how it tastes. Because it smells great. Oh, yeah. That is good. Oh, I taste a ton of mango. Way more mango in the flavor than I got in the aroma. The aroma was more floral, danky kind of hops. Holy crap, that's great. That is absolutely fantastic. Justin says experimental hops get confusing. Kind of, it's hard to keep track of what's what and what tastes like what. But if a brewery gives, Julia's now snickering that you said a booby. If a brewery gives you the proper tasting notes on either Untapped or in their tap room or on the can, wherever it may be, which Fretboard has here, it says right here on Untapped, huge notes of mango. And so, smelling it, I was not expecting that, but as soon as I'm reading that, I'm like, okay, let's see. And yeah, it is definitely big mango. I love this. Because it's still very West Coast. It still has that nice bitterness, but man, that is delicious. Really, really well done. Good job, Fretboard. I do have some label approvals for us to talk about tonight. Otherwise, we could talk. The March 1st is wrapping up their big anniversary weekend. I think it technically ends tomorrow, I guess, but it is still going on tonight. It's been going on every single day with very kind of small versions of all their festivals. So congrats to them. I know that they have had a great time with it. Got a great shout out on craftbrewingbusiness.com about the marketing idea of the month or something like that. We have Braxton just released their new year-round IPA. I haven't got to try it yet. I'm hoping I can get my hands on it this week, but who knows? And I think it's definitely something that they needed to do. Marco says they were packed for the pig roast. I am sad that I missed the pig roast. I feel like for as much time as I spend in tap rooms, I feel like I miss way more events than I make it to. Life is just pure chaos, as always. I know I've talked about this a lot on the show before, but thinking that you are going to quit your full-time job to do all of this stuff, you think that it's going to make all kinds of extra time, and my God, it doesn't. It is way harder trying to figure it all out right now than I thought it would be. So Higher Gravity, Justin says, might stop by Higher Gravity tomorrow to check it out. I did get to stop by Higher Gravity, the new Blue Ash location, this weekend. I'm doing some picture stuff for them. A huge shout out to them. They are definitely helping me out with getting all of this business stuff off the ground. It's much needed help. Love the new space. Can't wait to see how they kind of grow into it, and once there's some patio furniture, and it's gonna be great. Absolutely awesome spot. Let's see. Adam says that pig is always good. Life is chaos, and it's on fast forward. Yes. It's every minute of every day seems like it's consumed by something. Either trying to start a business, trying to sustain this website and this podcast, trying to get the other podcast, Drinking with the Gnome, get some of those episodes built up so that I can start rolling those out again. Trying to do a lot, and then on top of that, there's the kids and the family, who are fantastic, but they are also very time consuming. Luckily, I was able to get some good back surgery tonight from the kids. If anybody doesn't have kids yet and you're planning, if you've had a long day and you need somebody to rub your back, tell your kids you need some back surgery. They'll get all their little tools out and they'll poke at you and stuff, and it feels pretty good. So I got that tonight. Although the boy is very violent, and so you get a nice little back massage for like 3 minutes, and then you get stabbed with something really hard. that kind of sucks, but it's worth it. So that was most of my evening tonight was being a patient. Brad says I was the horse tonight. Yeah. See, the horse is way harder. That your back starts to get sore after a certain point of that. And usually, my oldest, sometimes she thinks she's a horse. Sometimes she thinks she's a dog. There's lots of leading her around the house and things like that. She doesn't typically want to ride you like a horse. Justin says, I'll stick with being an uncle. It is, yes, that is, in a lot of ways, just as fulfilling. Just not as difficult. Let's see. Tim says, will beer event calendars be available at the new higher gravity location? Marco says that's planned so far. Julia says, I can't imagine they wouldn't. Yeah, I assume that when you order this year's beer event calendar, you'll be able to choose which location you want to pick up your calendar from. That was, I believe, an option with this year's calendar, and they had to say that, hey, don't check the other location because it doesn't exist yet. So I assume this year you'll be able to get your calendar at either spot. I think that's fun. I cannot wait for beer event season. Beer event calendars monthly. I really, really love the beer event calendars. I'm looking forward to it so much this year because last year I had a day job. This year there's very few things that are stopping me from cracking open every beer at noon every single day. Justin said, can we not talk about Christmas yet? It's pretty much March. We are not talking about Christmas. We are talking about beer event calendars, which are two very different things. Beer event calendars are their own thing. Beer event calendars, I think there should be multiple throughout the year. I think there should be a July beer event calendar to help celebrate in the middle of summer. I think there should also be a Christmas time beer event calendar. Beer event. Beer event is its own holiday. A holiday that I believe you can celebrate anytime. March and beer event calendar. All right, let's look at some labels. There's a couple good ones here, and a couple things that I definitely want to talk about. The one that I did, I don't think I pulled it. So I didn't pull because I don't typically pull keg collars. Those do go through the same approval process, and you see them, but they're not as exciting usually. However, Bad Tom Smith, if you guys don't know them, they're in Madisonville. Their tap room is in Madisonville. They have a production brewery that's over in Batavia that is providing all the beer. But they just cranked through a bunch of different keg collars, which is interesting. Means that they're probably getting ready to start pushing into distro a little bit more than they have been, which is, I guess, exciting for them. It's fun to see. Josh says, Advent, the arrival of a notable person, thing, or event. Beer. Perfect. It's a beer arrival is all it means. Advent, beer event, beer arrival. All right, let's jump into these. First up, this is a new label for the barrel-aged Agave Spirit from Cincinnati Distilling. So this is not tequila, mind you, because you cannot make tequila in the United States. This is an Agave Spirit, but barrel-aged. And I'm not the biggest fan of Cincinnati Distilling's Agave Spirit. I think it's okay. I'm curious about this one, though. I'm curious to see how the barrel changes it and maybe if it improves it a little bit. No, I don't care about those. So I was thinking, first instinct was I wish the label was a different color than the regular one, but if you've seen the bottles, the whole bottle, you'll be able to see the color of the spirit is different. So Marco says, I am agave in spirit. This is their barrel-aged dry gin. I have had several barrel-aged gins, the majority of which I don't care about. I think that they aren't that great. New Riff has a barrel-aged, they call it their barrel-aged wild gin, something like that. That is delicious. So I am definitely hoping that this is the good side of barrel-aged gins. I love this gin. I actually today, so we'll go back to the labels. Today I went through and was editing a couple things and cleaning up some stuff. There were, some of you guys know this, there were 3 episodes of Drinking with the Gnome that I recorded with a bunch of the folks at March 1st in Cincinnati Distilling. One of those episodes, I think I lost. I don't think I have it anymore. The best one. So we recorded 3 in series. First one is pretty tame, pretty normal. The second one was borderline. Third one, there was a lot of drunk people, which is great. But all 3 of those episodes, we've all decided won't actually make it to Drinking with the Gnome because of reasons. But the second one was a Red Sky gin episode, and I thought it was fun. It was really entertaining, and I did listen to the whole thing today, and pulled a couple clips out too. But we'll see if those make it to something. I'm toying around with the idea for those of you who are gnomies. So if you support on Patreon, that's thegnarlygnome.com/support. If you don't know, for those of you who do support on there. I'm debating starting another show, which I know is ridiculous since I can't even get Drinking with the Gnome to be as frequent as it's supposed to be. But just of shows that don't kind of fit anywhere else, maybe kind of unedited things that don't make it to Cincy Brewcast or don't make it to Drinking with the Gnome, or if I'm sitting at home and 7 different podcasts all call me at the same time, hit record and throw that into that feed, something like that. Just the other stuff that doesn't really fit into a normal show. That show, I have a couple names that I've been playing with, so I won't give away what I think it's going to be called if it happens. But I would love both this Red Sky gin episode as well as the cask series bourbon episode to make it into there. But I have to get the green light from the other people involved in the episode before we do that. And evidently the canned cocktails won't make it in there because I don't think I've got it. I have a couple other places I can look and see if I've got the files for it, but I'm pretty sure somewhere along the line it got deleted as I was cleaning stuff. So that sucks. Let's see. So yeah, barrel aged gin. Sorry, let me pull the chat off of the screen for this. I need to. Well, I know how to fix it, but I don't really want to do it that way. Just pull that off of there. So up next, this also gets a little bit exciting. This is Cloud Harvest. So Cloud Harvest is a series that Rhinegeist has been doing of different hops, and they all have different names based on different like islands and stuff. So tropical hazy IPAs. This is just called Cloud Harvest. So I don't know for a fact if this is kind of their favorite of all of that, or kind of a blend of some of them that are now going to make their way into either a year-round release or a seasonal release or something like that is just their Cloud Harvest Hazy IPA. I thought it was interesting. I really like the artwork on this. I know that a lot of people talk about how great Rhinegeist branding is, and it is. It's wonderful. I get a little bit bored of all of the cans being just that hop ghost guy with the stripes underneath of it or the solid color underneath of it. I like things like this where it takes that and just puts a tiny little spin on it. So I like this a lot. I think it's gonna look great. Another Rhinegeist beer. This one is called Hops is Real. If you guys know the Hell is Real sign on 71, this is a collaboration with Columbus Brewing Company. So up 71. Tim says the clouds look like the state of Kentucky. Kind of. Maybe, yeah, a little bit like Kentucky. So a big, giant West Coast double IPA with Columbus Brewing Company. you guys know that this is going to be great. Rheingeist is great with IPAs. Columbus Brewing Company is great with IPAs. You put them together. The only thing that could have made this better is if you throw somebody like Fatheads into it also. But I'm excited to try this one. I'm not going to read all the stuff on there, but it just talks about how in order to prove that Central Ohio isn't all cornfields and commandments, you don't need a coastline to brew a great beer. We teamed up with our friends up at, it's good. It's clever. Yeah. Anybody gets to try this one, let me know how it is, because you'll probably get to try it before me because I can't keep up with anything. Chariot, we've been watching a lot of Urban Artifacts labels kind of get this new little refresh with how they're communicating how much fruit is in the can, as well as the name change of the seasonal gozas. This is now a cherry fruit tart, just plain fruit tart versus an American fruit tart versus a Midwest fruit tart, versus the seltzers. But then also up in the corner there, you see that it says this fruit tart has 8 tart cherries and a speck of vanilla in each can. So this is the way they communicate how much fruit they're putting in there, instead of just saying, there's 2,000 pounds of cherries in a 30-barrel batch. Nobody knows how much that is. This kind of gives you a more understandable representation of how much fruit is in each can. This is one of the next up in their small batch series, which I do get the small batch beers. I think that I'm going to have to unsubscribe to the small batch series, which is breaking my heart. Not that I don't enjoy them. Not that they're not all delicious. But I'm trying to cut back on how much money I'm spending on beer now. So, with that being said, if any of you want to split maybe a small batch membership with me, send me a message. Maybe we can figure something out so that I don't have to quit getting these beers, because this sounds delicious. Lemon, cardamom, toasted oats, cinnamon, lactose, and vanilla bean. Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah, I love everything Urban Artifact does. Almost everything. And I'm excited to see that one. Photo booth. Again, going back to those seasonal gozas that aren't gozas anymore. Grapefruit fruit tart. It has half a grapefruit and a speck of vanilla in each can. I love this one. Not as good as Key Punch, but... Valley Vineyards, Merlot. So Valley Vineyards has been cranking out a few new labels for some of their wines lately, new wines, and this is their Merlot. Wine is definitely not my thing, but Marco teased us last year and said we were all going to get together and drink some wine sometime. Maybe we'll drink some of this if we ever get together and do it. Valley Vineyards, Victoria. This is another red wine. Again, don't know much about it, but I'll drink it if we ever get together and drink wine. That's it for the labels. But so there's some good stuff in there. We need to all get together and drink a bunch of wine together. We also need to get together and drink a bunch of sake together. I forgot to mention that at the top of the show. Jungle Jim's did a big event this last weekend called Sake to Me, which was a sake tasting event. And there was a bunch of different stuff that I have never tried before that I was really happy to try. Bought a nice bottle that I would never have normally spent that much money on, because I got to try it and I knew that I liked it. So I've got that sitting here now, and I would love to share it with other people. So we need to... Adam says wine and sake mixed. I see hangovers. If you don't get a hangover after a night of hanging out with friends, sharing drinks, you did something wrong, is the way I believe it. There's nothing wrong with that. Hangovers are a sign that you did something right beforehand. That's about all that I've got as far as my notes of things to talk about. Like I said, I've been extremely busy with stuff, and I keep saying that I'm going to get things back on track here, but until till financially we get all of this straightened out. It's going to be chaos for a while, but I am going to be out at Esoteric tomorrow. I'm going to record an episode of Prost, which is not called Prost, tomorrow. While I'm there, I'm going to do it from Esoteric. They have a new beer that they're releasing, and they invited me out there, so I'm going to go. I'm also going to stop by Moreline, I think, afterwards to get my Stein. They have these new collector Stein things, and I always subscribe to their mug club because why not? And that's part of it this year, so I'm going to stop by and have a beer there. And what else is going on this week? I will be out at Sonder. I'm recording an episode of their podcast. Forgot to mention that. I did get to go to the Sausage Queen preliminary round out at Sonder. If you guys listened to this week's Brewcast, you got a little peek into that. We did poke our beers. That's the way I like to call it. We did our beer caramelizer thing where you put it in there, and I realized that it is really amazing with Bock. It was the first time I've tried it with a Bock, and I think that so far it probably is my favorite beer style to do with the caramelizer. Let's see. Yes, Marco reminded me they BC's Montgomery next Tuesday. There is a live version. It's always live when you're recording a podcast and somebody's standing there, of Truth Beer Podsequences. It's on my calendar. I'm planning on being there. I know that a lot of other folks will try to be there too, so it should be a fun time of everybody hanging out, drinking together, and yeah, we'll see what happens with hangovers the next day. Over this weekend, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be able to do. My wife is out of town for Bachfest weekend, which is ridiculous, but it's happening. So I will definitely be at home with the kids way more than any human should be. Tim says, what time? I have 6 p.m. on my calendar. I don't know if that's accurate. Marco and Julia, you guys can correct on here and let Tim know what time, but I will be definitely trying to be there. Also, so next week, I'm not sure what the Brewcast this week is going to be because of how every day is filled up with stuff. But I have TAFs coming up. In theory, again, I hate talking about brewcasts that are coming up because so many times it gets canceled or moved or rescheduled or things like that. But as of right now, we are planning. I say we. I'm planning on being out at Taft's in 2 weeks to record a show. Julia says, which Taft's? I think we're going to record at the Brewporium on Wednesday. The 9th is as of right now when it's scheduled. There we go. There's Dan Shadow says, see you then. I'm excited. I've had folks from Taft's on the show a few times, but I've only recorded a show at Taft's once, and it is one of, I think, 2 or 3 episodes in the history of the Brewcast that got lost. Either equipment failures, me not hitting recording button failures. One was a memory card that failed on me. I think there's been 3 episodes like that the show disappeared. Matt says, what's up? He's closing down Narrow Path tonight. Craft Beer Joe just stopped through, though. Sorry, wait, no problem. Newbert Report says, can I get live stream access? Maybe I'll figure out a way to do some kind of live stream of Truth Beer Podsequences. If they'll run a cord out of their mixer into, well, maybe we'll figure something out for you. Or we can just, for all the people who can't make the episode, we'll just bring them all into the show the same way that we did last week on 7 different podcasts. Anyways, we'll wrap things up. Thank you guys very much. Cheers, everybody. If you know anybody that needs any kind of photography services, especially photography, have them reach out to me. Gnome Creative. You can just reach out to any of the Gnarly Gnome channels, and we can get it set up because this guy needs business very badly. If you like the show or any of the shows and you want to support this stuff, go to thegnarlygnome.com/support. That helps immensely. It keeps all of the important bills with all of this paid, so that it doesn't just turn off one day yet. So thank you guys that do that. Thank you guys that have done that. Thank you for everybody that finds a way to support the stuff that I do. There are big things coming with all of this. It's a crawl sometimes trying to make it happen, but it is happening, and it's gonna get awesome. So thank you guys. Cheers, everybody. Everybody, go have a drink and enjoy the evening. I guess it is Monday, so there's only so much you can do to enjoy that, but make it what you want. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Thanks. The Weekly Pint. It's fun. I'll see you guys later. Do you think my wife will notice if I just sit down here and leave the microphone in front of me and pretend that I'm still doing a show so that I can just sit down here and drink by myself? I think I can pull this off. Let's find out.